Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Allison and this is The Cozy Shelf. If this is your first time, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have fun with today's video. And today I am talking about my August TBR, aka my overly enthusiastic list of books I would like to read in the coming month. So we have finally wrapped up July, and that is great, and July was a wonderful reading month, but I am definitely looking forward to August and reading some new books. So I don't know about you guys, but have you ever experienced this moment where you have like 4 unread books on your shelves to pick from to read? Because I have been experiencing that lately, and it's very interesting. So I had to actually buy some. I know, that's not that big of a problem, like, oh, a book lover had to buy books. So funny. But anyways, I did have to buy some books. A few I was planning on getting anyways, but it's actually kind of interesting to have to buy books for your TBR. I've never experienced this before, so that's kind of fun, because then you like get the excitement of like getting a new book and then also like being able to read it right away, so that's really exciting. So anyways, that's enough rambling. I am going to go ahead and get right into my TBR for August, and I have quite a few books on my list. I'm probably not going to get to all of them, but I'm going to try my hardest to get to most of them. So the first books I'm going to talk about are books that I have not read yet, because I do like to reread books. First up for the month of August, we have Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel. This is the second novel in the Thomas Cromwell trilogy by her, and it is adult historical fiction. I immensely enjoyed, the first book was called Wolf Hall. I really enjoyed Wolf Hall. It was pretty freaking good. It is like, I don't read historical fiction an awful lot. I like, my first love is fantasy, and then my second love is sci-fi, and then I also like to read historical fiction. Basically anything that pulls me out of modern day life into like any time period, any world other than like the real world. So I don't read contemporary at all, ever. I just don't read it because I don't care about it. Like, I can get on, you know, whatever media outlet I choose and see all of that stuff happening in real life. So I don't want to also read about it. So this book is 484 pages. It is very dense. I don't think in Wolf Hall, I don't think I read more than like 30 some pages in an hour. It is extremely dense, and it is set in medieval London. So like not London, England. Not London specifically, in like England, the whole country. It was like the 1530s or something like that, and it focuses on the later years of a man named Thomas Cromwell. So if you don't know anything about like the Tudor era in British history, there was the King Henry something. I don't know what, the 8th or something like this. I don't know what actual number he is, but his name is Henry. He's the King of England. He wants to divorce his wife so that he can marry another woman. And that is kind of like what Wolf Hall talks about. Like, that's the main story in Wolf Hall, but it's told from Thomas's perspective. And I'm pretty sure this book continues that story. I'm not sure exactly what it talks about. Prior to reading Wolf Hall, I had no experience with the Tudor era. I know there's been a few TV shows done about this era in England's history, but I just haven't seen them. So this was my first experience with it. I really enjoyed it. The writing takes a little bit to get used to. It's very intense. It's very like set in the time. I feel like this is how they spoke then, and whatnot. And Hilary just has a really unique writing style, which I really appreciated. I'm very much looking forward to this one, and I put this one on the beginning of my TBR to pick up first because I know that it's going to take me quite a bit of time to get through, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to read it in August, so this one is first up for August. Next on the list for August, we have A Time of Courage, or Time for Courage? No, A Time of Courage by John Gwynne. This is the third book in his Of Blood and Bone series. This is the final book, and it is a chunker. It's really big. It is adult fantasy, and it is 648 pages. It's 648 pages long. It looks really thick because they're like the publishing company used a really thick paper to print on, and this is a UK hardcover, and those usually tend to be a little bit thicker than US hardcovers. But it's a big book. It's really pretty. I don't know. I mean, I guess you can't really call this pretty, but it's pretty freaking epic. I actually like all of the covers that John Gwynne has for his books. So, yeah, I guess I really appreciate John Gwynne's writing. I did a review for the first book in this, was called A Time of Dread, and I did a review for that book. I will put it I put the link to that in the description box, and I have not yet done the review video for A Time of Blood, which is the second novel, which I just finished a week ago. I finished it relatively recently, and I really liked that book. It was really good. It completely lived up to my expectations. It was absolutely well crafted. Just, John Gwynne is a master storyteller. So if you like Viking-esque stories, that like fantasy stories, if you like them set in like a Viking type setting, this one happens to have angels and demons and a little bit of magic, and it's action-packed and fast-paced. Like, this book has everything. If you like action and you like fast-paced books, this is the one for you. This book was so good. Or not this book, but the other two books were so good. I read them so fast. Like, once I got into the story, I was just like zipping through the pages because I just had to figure out what the heck was gonna happen. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. I'm kind of scared because John Gwynne is not nice to my characters. Lots of horrible things happened in the second book, so I'm really scared for this one. If he kills off any more characters, I'm gonna be freaking mad, because there's only so many characters you can kill before you just run out of characters to kill, alright? So, anyways, I'm looking forward to this book. I'm definitely really excited to get back into this world and to finish up this series. And then after I finish this, I'm actually going to start his first series he wrote, which is The Faithful and the Fallen, which actually preludes this series, and I kind of read them out of order, but that's okay, we're not going to talk about it. But I am definitely planning to continue with that series, and then also his new series that he just started, so that's all really exciting. The next unread book I have for this month is Children of Dune by Frank Herbert. This is the third novel in the Dune series, and it is adult science fiction. So I just actually literally got this today. I was so excited because I didn't think I was going to get it until next week, and I was worried about not having it for the video, but I have it, yay. So I really don't know what this book is about. Well, I'm thinking it picks up after, obviously it picks up after the second book, and I think it has something to do with the main character's children. So I'm definitely like looking forward to this book. I have heard so many like mixed reviews about the whole series. Like, people either love it or they hate it. I haven't really found anyone that's like kind of middle of the road, like they read it and thought it was okay. Like, most people will read the first book and then they either won't continue the series, or they'll read the whole thing and hate it, or they'll read the whole series and love it. So right now for me it's kind of like an okay thing. Like, I absolutely loved Dune. The second book was a little bit weird. It wasn't my favorite. So I have kind of high expectations for this one to kind of bring back the like mysticism and stuff of Dune. So I'm looking forward to this book. I hope it's better than the second one, and I also will try not to read it right after I read a 5-star book. That was what I did with the second one. That was a really bad idea. Anyways, I am looking forward to reading this one in August. This is not a super big priority for me, so if I don't get to it in August, I'm not going to be super duper upset about it, but I would like to get to it if I can. And the last book that I have, the last unread book that I have for my TBR for August is Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mahurin. This is the third and final book in the Serpent and Dove trilogy by her. It is YA fantasy, and it just came out Tuesday, I believe. I'm pretty sure it just came out on Tuesday. Like July, what was it, the 26th or something like that. So It's a relatively new release, like literally it just released, and I am buddy reading this with my good friend Brianna. We are absolutely loving our buddy reads that we have been doing. We have been trying to do one every month, and this is our pick for August. So I am very scared to see how this one turns out. Just stuff happened in the last book, and I'm not really prepared for the events of this book. So looking forward to it. I'm probably going to read it way too fast and forget most of what happens, but I am definitely excited to get back to Lou and Reed's story and to find out what the heck even happens, because there's stuff that needs to happen and it's kind of scary. So I'm really looking forward to this one. So that was the last of the unread books that I have for my TBR. I have 3. I am so ambitious, guys. I have 3 books that I would also like to reread during the month of August. So my first reread for the month is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. I actually have started this one already, but I have another book that I need to wrap up before the end of July, and right now it's July 30th, so I have to focus on that book so that I can finish it in time. So this one will be continuing into August, which is okay. Lately, what I have been doing is reading a reread in the morning, and then in the evening, like after my kids go to bed, I spend about an hour reading a brand new book, and that seems to actually help me get through at least 2 books a week, which is more than what I could do if I just read the same book. Because if I'm reading the same book, I usually only read in the morning, or I'll only read at night, which has been happening this week for some reason. But anyways, that seems to be helping me get through books faster, which I obviously love, because who doesn't want to read more books? So this is my first reread for the month. My next reread is Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 3rd book in her Throne of Glass series, and I am very much looking forward to rereading this one. I just finished up Crown of Midnight probably at the beginning of July, and I appreciated that book a lot more the second time around. So I'm definitely really looking forward to this one. If you don't know anything about this series, it is YA fantasy, and the first book is called Throne of Glass. Yeah, this book is like a turning point for the whole series, so if you've made it through the first 2 books and you don't think that it's good, just keep reading until you get to this one. If you end up not liking this one, then I would just discourage continuing the rest of the series. But if you've made it through the first 2 and you don't really want to give up on it yet, like you're not ready to give up on this series yet, give Heir of Fire a try, and if you end up loving it, then just keep reading, because the series gets amazing. But if you end up not liking Heir of Fire after reading Crown of Midnight, or Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, I would just suggest not finishing the series unless you're one of those like diehards that has to finish everything they start. Because if you don't enjoy Heir of Fire, you're not going to enjoy the rest of the books. That's basically how this works, pretty much. So anyways, really looking forward to this. This will be my second time reading this one, so I'm very excited to like remember all of the things that happen and like pick up on things that I didn't notice before, because I have, hindsight now that I've read the entire series. So I'm really looking forward to this one for sure. And then my final reread for the month of August is The Song Rising by Samantha Shannon. This book is the 3rd book in the Bone Season series, and it is YA/adult science fiction. The reason I say slash is because if you're on the older range of the YA spectrum or an adult, I feel like both could enjoy this book. It is this one, I can't really remember what happens in this one. There was a lot. I read it really fast and it gave me really bad anxiety. Like, not like bad for my mental health anxiety, but like I have to sit and read this book so fast because I need to freaking figure out what happens kind of anxiety. Like that kind of anxiety, not like a bad kind of anxiety. Just enough motivation for me to like literally want to sit and read this in one sitting, which you probably could do. It's not very big. It's 348 pages. So if you had like a day, you could probably read this in a day. So like I said, this is the 3rd book in the Bone Season series, and it's, long story short, it's about a girl who is clairvoyant, which means she can do things with like spirits. So the whole gist of this thing is it's set in a dystopian England, a dystopian London, and there are people that have clairvoyance and there are people that are not. the people that have the clairvoyance are considered the evil bad guys, and the people that do not have clairvoyance are considered the good guys, or just regular humans. And the story is about a young girl fighting back against that whole, like, you know, the clairvoyants are the bad guys and the non-clairvoyants are the good guys. She's fighting back against that system. Like, that's what the whole series has been about so far. So this is the third book. The fourth book just came out at the beginning of 2021, and I have not read it yet because I wanted to reread the first three. It's been a long time since I read these. I think I read this one in 2018 or something like that. It might have been early 2019, but it's been a while, so I wanted to just refresh my memory. And like I said, I read it super fast, so I think the only part I do remember about this book is the ending, which is kind of bad. I kind of remember the ending, so I just need to reread it so that I can read the fourth book and enjoy that one a little bit more, because I will know what the heck is even going on. So that is all I have for my August TBR. I feel like I talked super fast in this video. That might have something to do with the coffee I was just drinking. So we're just gonna move on. Oh, there are a couple of books that are releasing in August that I wanted to talk about. Actually just one book, and it is A Dance with the Fae Prince by Elise Kova. It is the second book in her Married to Magic series, which is a series of books set in the same world but not all about the same characters. And as far as I'm aware, they are all romance books. The first one I read was a romance, and I'm assuming that the next book is also a romance. And I'm very much looking forward to that one because I really enjoyed the first one. The first one was called The Deal with the Elf King, and it was just a tiny little book that was read purely for enjoyment. There's not a lot of deep world building or anything, so you don't have to worry about spending like hours and hours trying to get through this massive fantasy book. It's just a tiny little book, mostly romance. There's a little bit of a fantasy element to it, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm really looking forward to the second book. I literally cannot remember when that book comes out, but I know it is in the month of August, and I already have it pre-ordered, so that's pretty darn cool. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you had some fun with it, and I hope you picked up some new books or added some new books to your TBR. Let me know in the comments what you plan to read in August. I would love to know, and I hope I'll see you guys in another video. Until then, bye!